I'm Matt Clem. I am from Los Gatos, California, and what I do is I'm an online fitness coach, and I specifically help ravers and people that go out to festivals and concerts for a living and transform them understanding that it's more than just physical. Starting my fitness journey, it was out of like this deeply rooted like hatred from myself. I looked at myself in the mirror in college and was like, who the fuck are you? When I was like covered in like beer cans and like pizza grease, and I literally like fell asleep at the dorms, and I was 70 pounds overweight after being a high school athlete, and I didn't really know the direction that I wanted to go with my life, because my entire life I'd been like living for my parents or to like make them proud, not necessarily myself proud. And then like through that journey, I discovered like the gym, and I think over the course of these past few years, I've realized this journey has been more out of self-love and loving myself enough rather than a hatred of like not being where I'm at. And I think intertwined with that, the reason why I love helping and serving people to get in their most confident and their the best shape of their life is because I know what it's like to not be there, and I know what it's like to go through that journey. And I was raised Catholic, and I went to an all guys Jesuit school, and their slogan was be in the service with and for others. And I think that's carried with me throughout all these years of bringing the good news in any way possible. And for me, it was health and fitness. I worked with Zach Colburn, and I was actually in a rut in college. I literally lived in like a low-key trap house. I had some pretty supportive roommates, but then like one of them dropped out and started selling out of the house, and I'd come home nights trying to like meal prep chicken and be on top of my health and my fitness goals, and I would just be offered McDonald's. It was a hot box. People were selling stuff through the house, and it was just like a not a healthy environment to have health and fitness goals. And through that, I was scrolling on Explore page on Instagram, and there's this dude with like bulging abs on the beach in San Diego, and had just some like inspirational kind of like quote or caption. And I'm like, dang, like I'm out here in Colorado and in a rut in the worst shape of my life per se, but trying to make a change. And I'm seeing the power of social media kind of occur right in front of my eyes of holy cow, like this, whatever this guy's on or whatever this guy's life is, like that's inspirational. And I ended up working with him over a course of like 6 to 7 months while I was working at university and ministry, making like $200. So I put everything into this guy's program and got crazy results. And I think what kind of manifested through that Zach Colburn ended up becoming like a business mentor of mine. And kind of through that journey of not only him being my fitness coach and my business coach, he had a podcast. And when I started listening to it on my walks, I saw Chad Morgan's Beyond Built podcast in the like kind of in similarity. And then I asked Zach, I'm like, who's this Chad guy? And since Zach had become like a business mentor to me, and I was looking kind of in a rut, in a plateau again in my fitness journey, I really resonated with Chad's story, Chad's vision, and the conversations that him and Farshad were having. And that was another like very peak inspirational on my walks. And then I ended up reaching out, and the rest is history. Definitely a huge freaking impact. And I think, and he's kind of expressed this even recently on his social media, that I was one of the worst like clients going into Beyond Built. Like I was dealing with a lot of seasonal depression at the time before Beyond Built. Some family members passed away. I dislocated my kneecap, went through a breakup, 3 feet of snow in Colorado, no family around, lost my job. And I think everyone in a scenario like that, when you don't really know yourself or have big overarching goals or have a vision, a lot of external things might make people crumble. And I think I've definitely fell victim to that. And I think through that like victim mentality and not having an understanding of like who the fuck I was at the time. I didn't know what depression was until I went through it for like 6 to 7 months. And I think through that, to get myself out, I started listening to those podcasts, started listening to inspirational stuff again, and that's where I found his podcast. And I think when I signed up with Beyond Built and I wanted to like actually do a bulk right, actually do like a fitness journey correctly instead of always teeter-tottering, going all or nothing, self-sabotaging, not knowing what my goals are, get ripped for a festival or an event or a wedding, and then fall back off, I kind of realized I wanted to end this. And then right as I signed up, I went into another like seasonal kind of depression. And I literally paid like 3 to 4 months of coaching and said like 2 sentences to Chad. And I think through that time, it was like a very hard just to like get to the gym, very hard just to like get out of my room. And I think at that time, to pull me out, I saw like one of the emails from Beyond Built and it said retreat. Like we have a San Diego retreat. And mind you, I've had 2 sentences with Chad for the first 3 to 4 months working with Beyond Built. Wasn't involved with anything. And then what ended up happening, the reason why these retreats or this retreat kind of spoke to me is because going back to being in the service with and for others and my Catholic kind of background, I always went to like Jesus camp growing up and Kairos in high school. So I always found that as very much inspiration and it moved me. And I think that was missing in my daily life as like a young professional, as an adult. So I think since I had this sense of yearning for belonging, and I never knew at the time that I can cultivate that within myself, I was like, maybe I can go out and do something and figure it out if I can cultivate that community in the physical form. So I bet on myself and went on that retreat, and literally the first frickin' 2 nights had a conversation with one of the coaches far, and then the second conversation was with Chad. And the first conversation kind of went into how are you taking responsibility and ownership for your life? And at the time I was like, I don't fucking know, like I'm not. And that was like a two kind of crossroads, right? It's like you can either be dealt this very high quality question and just live in quiet desperation for the rest of your life, or you can actually be curious and be a student and like actually ponder that question and maybe even take action on it. And kind of after that, and then as well as having a conversation with Chad of like the things that I've been going through and the things that I was going through and the things that I wanted to achieve. And I was just met with like open grace and open arms. And I think having that conversation with Chad, we were like in the pool and it was just us two and like kind of sharing my story and like who I actually am, because we actually never really got to know each other until that point. It was very much like an unconditional love kind of conversation of like, hey, like, we're here for you. Like, this is family. This is Beyond Built. This is like what we're here to do. We're not here to force anything down your throat. We're here to like meet you with where you're at. And I think that's something that like Beyond Built and like Chad like really focuses on with the people that go into the community, is that transformation comes when you're ready for transformation. And I think since I've been in Beyond Built for the last 3 fucking years, it's been like just meeting me with where I'm at, and then we hit a goal, and then it's like, okay, what's the next thing? And then we hit a goal, and then it's like, and then I never even knew that I'd be doing my first freaking bodybuilding show 3 years ago. This is like outside of what I even known was possible physically and mentally. And I think that's like why someone like, everyone needs a Chad in their life, a mentor, a brother. And I think it started with me betting on myself to invest into me and go out of my way to find my people, because when I was out in Colorado, it felt lonely. Everyone was on their own path, doing their own thing, no family around. And I think when I bet on myself and was like, holy cow, these people, it can be intimidating to see, holy cow, this person's like where I want to be. I can never be like that. And that's what I always thought. But in reality, no, it's like, no, I can have a piece of the pie. Like, no, like these people that inspire me, like these people can be my best friends. And I think that's where You just have to allow those thoughts and thoughts of abundance, thoughts of inspiration to like flow through you rather than like ignoring them.